Check this out. An amazing video from over the weekend. NFL MVP Patty Mahomes throwing the football out of Arrowhead Stadium. So ridiculously impressive. I thought this was Photoshopped. Look where this lands.
I would have thought it was fake too, Jenna, if it wasn't tweeted out by a news network in Kansas City. I called my friends in Kansas City to try to find out if this was staged. It was not. This is in response, I believe, to Odell throwing it 100 yards end to end. Which of the two is harder, see? Out of the stadium or Odell in line to end zone line to end zone line?
Ooh. I mean, that's an old stadium. So he has a huge, that's huge right there. The 100 yards, man. I haven't seen anybody throw the ball 100 yards, so I'm just going to say 100 yards.
100 yards?
Yeah.
If people haven't been to Arrowhead, it's a true 3-deck stadium. So there was the kid that's on the Broncos now, Drew Lock. They showed a video of him throwing it out of Mizzou's football stadium where he went to college. But that's single deck. This is, you got your field level, club level, upper deck.
But isn't the more impressive, did I miss the more impressive part? Was that it landed 3 feet from the garbage can?
Oh, I don't know if he was aiming for anything.
Did you not?
I think that was just
blown away. So I missed the whole
I think that
thing
was
of
just
the video?
random happenstance.
Oh.
He wasn't trying to make it. He was I love you so much, Jenna.
I no joke. I'm not kidding. I honestly
we know you're not kidding. I know.
I wish you were kidding.
I thought that was the...
Throw it out of the stadium,
and
into the garbage can.
That's why I thought it was Photoshop.
Driving down I-70.
Okay.
Like Jenna, remember those old Bird MJ McDonald's commercials?
Where it went like through the thing, in the thing.
Those were fake.
Okay, that I knew.
Okay.
Time for story. I knew that in like 87 too. Stories to start your morning, sponsored by Gillette Clear Gel. Larry Bird was so good. Baker Mayfield's got a great new weapon this season. His name is Odell Beckham Jr. And according to Browns tight end David Njoku, OBJ has been, quote, a phenomenal fit. Chris Carter, will Odell and Baker mesh immediately in year one, or does that take time?
Absolutely. Baker and the receiving corps meshed last year, and Baker was not the preseason starter. Came in after the season already started, took over the locker room. Baker's a born leader. Him and OBJ have spent time together, not only this offseason, but the last offseason. OBJ also has he has his wide receiver coach from LSU that will help him understand the offense, and he also helped explain who Baker is. So, no, I look for them to thrive this season.
Baker's in a better position this year than he was last year, not just because he has the experience, not just because he played so well in the second half, but for what Chris said, he comes into the year as the unquestioned leader and starter of the football team. Odell's in a better position mentally than he's probably been in at least 3 years because he has a fresh start, because he has the most talented quarterback he's ever played with, and because he feels like his career has a new life breathed into it. So I would be shocked personally if this duo is not one of the most dynamic in football this year from a quarterback-wide receiver combo.
And he's got his natural hair color back, so that always helps with mental clarity.
More aerodynamic as well.
Yep, exactly. Moving on, Lonzo Ball's time with the Lakers lasted just 2 disappointing seasons, but the former second overall pick is excited for a fresh start alongside new Pelicans teammate Zion Williamson. Nick, will Lonzo be a good fit with Zion in New Orleans?
I actually think he's a great fit because he's going to try to push the pace, get a rebound, push it up the court. You know Zion's going to be running the court. Also, defensively, I think these two guys can be 2/5 of a very good NBA defense. And we know that Lonzo's an underrated athlete. You see it in the highlights. His ability to get above the rim, but more importantly, his ability to throw lobs to Zion when he's trying to get above the rim. And he can do it a little more under the radar than he was able to do it in Los Angeles with his dad and all this distractions surrounding him.
He should be a good fit, but one thing to watch for, Zion can't shoot. Lonzo can't shoot.
Yeah.
Their center can't shoot. They only got 2 shooters in the lineup. So they better play with pace before teams set up their half-court defense. Nick made some good points as far as the defensive end. They should be athletic and be good on that end. But watch the spacing on the court because, Jenna,
or J.J. Redick's going to run himself ragged running off screens trying to get open for them.
I do know.
Oh, sorry.
Moving on to Chris Paul. When he was traded to the Thunder for Russell Westbrook last week, a lot of people thought CP3 would be quickly flipped to another team, but recent reports have OKC open to keeping Chris Paul. Nick, should the Thunder hold on to the 34-year-old?
Jenna, you know shooting is important. Is that what I interrupted? Is that what you were going to say? I think so. Oh, don't be upset with me, Chris.
Oh, no, I'm not upset with you. I'm looking at your hair on the thing. Man, you made a vast improvement. I wonder, how can you be so smart and not realize that?
What, that this is a vast improvement?
Yes.
Okay. To answer your question, Jenna Wolf, get us back on track.
Thank you.
OKC is not going to keep Chris Paul. Like, they might keep him temporarily. They might wait until the entire league can trade for him once the players you signed this offseason can't be traded till late December. So he could start the year on OKC. But OKC is not going to have this expensive of a roster to not be a contender, to not be a playoff team. So, no, he might start the year on OKC, but I would be flabbergasted if he ended the year on OKC.
Oh, yeah, he's definitely going to be out of OKC. They're going to give you enough draft picks, too, first round. Hey, take Chris Paul, and we'll give you some. Do you want anything back? Nope.
We're good.
No, he's got to go. It doesn't fit their model. They're in a total rebuild.
All right, to the Warriors now. They've been title favorites for half a decade, but Kevin Durant is gone. Nobody's sure when Klay Thompson will bounce back from a torn ACL, and they're all moving into a new stadium next year, and that has many wondering if Golden State can make it back to the big stage. Steph Curry doesn't wonder. He says, quote, "We got championship DNA. We know that. We've got our core when Klay gets back. It's going to be an interesting year for sure all the way around. It's going to be challenging to really find that momentum early, but with the new arena, losing the finals, this summer's a different vibe. Keeps you locked in." Nick, are people sleeping on the Warriors as title contenders? Just last week, you made a top 7. Warriors were not in it. Yeah. We were all surprised.
Listen, the idea that the Warriors are going to find themselves outside of the playoffs, I reject that. I think Steph's too good. I think Kerr's too good of a coach. I think Klay will be back at some point. But they're not finals contenders. They're not title contenders. So, I mean, if you're sleeping on them, you can stay asleep. Like, they have a very limited ceiling. Chris is really keeps harping on what type of team are they going to be defensively. That's a real question. The fit with D'Angelo Russell, that's a real question. And who is Draymond Green? Is he the player we saw in moments in the postseason last year, or is he the player we saw the entirety of last regular season, which was a very good but no longer best in the league level defender while being a hindrance on your offense? And how much does that hinder the offense those first few months of the year when Klay isn't out there, and the whole year when KD's not out there, not even to mention the emotional side of Draymond, where Iggy's gone, Sean Livingston's gone, and Draymond's waiting for that next contract. So the Warriors will be a playoff team. They, I think, when Klay comes back, can be a dangerous first-round team. But this is not a championship team. When we talk about the litany of teams in the West, that 1 through 6 are elite basketball teams, to me, the Warriors are not on that list.
And Steph is right to a certain degree. Steve Kerr, himself, Klay, who could be on the rack for at least half the season next year, and Draymond. Who else has got championship DNA? Looney? You're going to say just because he was out there on the court? No, to me, so that's the only people they have. Right. Like those backups and everything, they were afraid to play them. When they start getting those injuries, man, Steve Kerr wasn't like, oh, let me open up my bench. You know, this is what we do. We develop players. No, they haven't drafted well. They've developed any more players since Draymond got drafted, Steph got drafted, and Klay. Who else have they developed as a player? They have not, and it will hurt them this season. They're not a championship team. I think, Steph, did he mention that new arena twice in there?
I think so.
Oh, yeah, he's great. He's the best. I mean, he's the best face of a person. Oh, absolutely. Did I mention we got a new stadium?
A new arena.
Did I mention that?
From Oakland to San Francisco.
Oh, it's going to be a different vibe and everything. Oh, he's doing what he's got to do. But championship, no.
And how do guys who have been competing for championships for the last 5 years, a team that went to more consecutive finals than any organization has since Russell Celtics, how do they respond when you are into February and March and it's very clear this isn't a championship level team? Like, that is the other element of it. We've talked about the Warriors having a second gear, the Warriors amping up for the postseason. Well, when you've had 5 straight 100-game seasons, right, whether you're a championship level team or not this year, the wear and tear is still on you for Draymond, for Steph. Klay's going to be out at the beginning. How does Draymond get himself as amped up as he needs to be when the games feel less meaningful this year than they have at any time since he's been a full-time starter with the whole specter of free agency? And are the Warriors even going to offer me a max contract hanging over it?
There's no sense of confidence that D'Angelo will be able to keep, you know, sort of keep everything in play until Klay gets back. Then it's just Klay and Steph and how powerful that duo is and how far they can take this team.
Where D'Angelo Russell going to go then? He's making $27 million. You want him to play this big role, and then as soon as Klay, where are you going to put him on the court? Like, what are they going to do defensively? They're an awful small team. And remember when KD got hurt, we gave the ball more to Draymond offensively? You bring in another guard now who is in the pick and roll and handles the ball all the time. So how does Draymond get into the offensive flow? No, this is not a good fit. It's a good fit when Klay's hurt, but they are not a good three-guard rotation there, no.
That arena that Steph brought up a couple times, I believe, is the biggest reason, or one of the biggest reasons, that they acquired D'Angelo Russell the way they did. They can't. We saw this team briefly, but we saw this team in the playoffs with no KD and no Klay. And the way teams guarded Steph made his life impossible. They couldn't go into a season saying, Steph, run around like it's Davidson, except with NBA-level defenders instead of mid-major level defenders. So they had to bring in another option, and they had to keep things interesting because they're opening Chase Center.
Yep.
The Warriors could, as soon as the season after this, once again be championship favorites. We'll see what they do with Draymond, see what they trade D'Angelo for, have Steph and Klay for a full season. It might just be 1 year they're down. But this is going to be a
doubt that. I doubt they'll be favorites.
Well, I'm just saying I'm not going to cross.
You're very, very hopeful.
Okay, but the point is that this year there's no level this team can get to.
Nobody happier about that than Daryl Morey. Let's talk about the Rockets now.